Hi, and welcome to LB0 Fox India Norwegian Adventures. I'm Morten, LB0 Fox India. And I still have this JPC-12 antenna. Because after my last video on it, I got a lot of comments. And in the meantime, Ham Radio Dude, my good friend Sean, has also made a video on it. You can see that up here. And what we're all talking about is how easy or how hard is it to tune this antenna. And actually, Lasse, LA5 PPA, commented with this big list on how to tune the antenna on different bands. It's Delta Oscar 1 Hotel Fox Sierra that's made the list in German, and Lasse has translated it for me. So we're going to try those tricks out and see if that makes it any easier. I also had another plan, and I'm just going to get a couple of things out here. And that was between the ground spike and the coil here, where the radial is supposed to set. I had some plans on putting some washers on here. Turns out that I don't have any M10 washers, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But we're still going to see, and we're going to figure out if this works. So the first band we're going to try, though, is 40 meters. And I'm also going to put this list up on the screen so you can see it. And for 40 meters it says earth spike, radials, feeding point, 4 aluminum rods, coil telescopic extended completely. Place the coil between the 4 aluminum rods and the telescopic. And place the pickup at the lower mark for 40, or the lower red mark for 7 megahertz. This coil doesn't have the markings. But I got another coil here, it was just pretty much rusted shut. And you can see the marking here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 from the bottom. So I'm going to use that 4 turns from the bottom. And let's set up that and see how this goes. And before we set the antenna up, I'm going to talk to my little friend here, my little robotic mower, which is called Sean, like Sean the sheep, because he eats grass. We're going to press that big red stop button here so he doesn't eat any radials. And we got the coil set up here. It's tapped at the correct point. The whip is fully extended. And the radials are out using 4 sections of the aluminum rods. And my trusty little helper is here to help me. She loves radials. And with those settings for 40, we are resonant at 6.940, so we're a little bit too long, so let's shorten the antenna. Let's click the coil 1 up and see what happens. And that helped a lot, actually. We're at 7.080 and we got an SWR of 107 to 108, so we're pretty good. And for 30 we're gonna place the let me check the notes here. We're going to place the tap point 8 clicks below the top red mark, and the top red mark is 6 turns from the top. So let's go ahead and check that out and see what happens. And the coil is now tapped for 30, so let's go ahead and see what the SWR is here. And with those instructions, we are now resonant at 12 megahertz. So that means we got to lengthen the coil a little bit. So let me go do that and see what happens. I am now 2 clicks down from the original setting, and at 10.1 I'm at 1.6 SWR. So I'd qualify that as in tune. And for 20 it says to have everything fully extended, all the coils and all the rods in place, and place the tap point at the top mark for 14 megahertz. Let's go ahead and do that. And by just doing that, we're at about SWR at about 3 at 20 meter band. As you can see, the antenna is a little bit too short. So let's lengthen it a little bit and see. With 2 clicks down, we're at about an SWR at about 1.1 at 14,260. So that's in tune. And I just had to take a little break to get some water, because this is a warm day and you got to stay hydrated. Whether you're testing antennas, whether you're doing portable operations like Boda, soda, anything, stay hydrated in the warm weather. Nonetheless, you might just say that, well, those are the 3 bands that he managed to get in tune the last time. And yeah, you're right about that. Completely right. So no need to put a comment down below. But if you have anything else you want to comment on, please do that. Also hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. Never mind. Let's go on to the next band, because the reason I did these 3 bands were because I needed to see if this list actually worked, and it did. I managed to get those 3 bands that I've tuned earlier pretty easily in tune. So let's check 17 meters. And on the notes here it says, earth spike radials feeding point 4 times aluminum rod, telescopic fully extended. But it does not say where to tap it though. No, actually, it says that I'm not going to use the coil. So let's remove the coil and see if we can get it in tune on 17. And that actually worked straight out of the box. Got an SWR at 1.1 at 18.130. So we're good on 17 meters. Let's move on to 15 and see what happens. And just so you can see here, we got the coil removed and we got the whip fully extended for 17 meters. And for 15 here, there are a couple of ways to do that. We're going to go with number 2, which says 3 aluminum rods and the telescopic antenna fully extended. Let's try that and see what happens. And by doing that, we're a little bit too long. We got an SWR at 1.98, almost 2 at 21,130. So let's shorten the antenna a little bit and see if we can tune it any better. And by shortening that a little bit more, about 1 1/3 of a leg of the telescopic antenna, we're down to 1.58 at 21,100. And that's usable. I'd use it. I'd use anything below 2 actually in a portable setting. So we're good on 15. Let's check out 12. And for 12 it says use the whip fully extended and use 2 of the aluminum rods. So let's go change the antenna. And by doing that, we're at about 2 at 24,920. So we gotta shorten the antenna a little bit. We're a little bit too long. Let's shorten it and see what happens. And by shortening that a little bit more, this is probably as good as it gets. We're at about 1.73 at 24,920. So that's perfectly acceptable. Let's check out 10. And for 10, we're supposed to leave the antenna fully extended and then remove the aluminum rod. So let's do that, and that should probably be correct because the antenna is about 2.5 meters long, so that'll be a 1/4 wave on 10. And there we go, 28.320, and we're at 1.53. 10 meter is good. And for 6 meters, it says to use 3 to 4 sections of the whip. No coil, no rods, nothing. So let's check that out and do a quick check on 6. And then we'll conclude. And it turns out that we needed a little bit more whip than it said in the instructions, but we're at 1.6 at 50 megahertz with about 5 sections of the whip extended. So people say 3rd time's the charm, and it might be. Anyhow, I managed to tune the antenna on all bands between 40 and 6. Using the set of instructions that Lasse LA5 PPA left in the comments. The creator of these instructions is Delta Oscar 1 Hotel Fox Sierra. So I gotta give credit to him. I gotta give credit to Lasse LA5 PPA for giving me these instructions. And then to Ham Radio Dude, he's over on YouTube. You can find his channel. I'll link it either up here, down here. We'll see what happens. He also did a video on this earlier today. He released it earlier today. And that wanted me to give this another go. And what do I think about this antenna though? Actually, I don't know, because it took me 3 pretty hard attempts to make it to tune. I got some instructions that were pretty good. I no doubt that the antenna works, but if I was a new ham, this was my first antenna, I'd given up a long time ago. So the next thing to do with this antenna, and hopefully you're not sick of me testing this antenna, is taking it out for a POTA. And depending on how hot it gets today, I might do that today, I might do that tomorrow. We'll give it a shot on a POTA and we'll see if I can get a park activated with the antenna. If I can do that, it's a thumbs up for me. If I can't, it's more of a meh. I don't know. I'm not really sure what I think of this antenna. We'll see what happens. But then again, it's not my antenna. I just borrowed it, so we'll see. I guess that's it for today. Please do remember to like, comment, and if you want to support the channel a little bit, there are a couple of ways down below to do that. Don't feel pressured to do that. That's it for today. Until next time, 7-3.